What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hot Take. Today, we are in a 1986 C4 Corvette with a 4-speed manual plus overdrive, so I guess a 5-speed manual. We have the owner with us, Adam. Adam, tell us a little bit about this C4 Corvette.
So I got this car about 2 years ago. Daily drove it for a summer. It's 1986, one of one, made in gold with a brown interior, made in October of '85.
Got to throw that in there.
First manual car that I ever drove. 250 horsepower, very low miles. We're 61,000 right now.
That's pretty low.
For an 86, it's not bad. Yeah, it's a really fun car.
Yeah, looks like an honest car. I'm so excited to drive this thing today. I've driven it around a little bit, and it's been fantastic. This car also will be for sale when it does eventually go up for sale. Information will be in the description. But with that, let's go ahead and take it on the road and see how she drives. Thank you, sir. Okay. Weird. So it shifts while it's in overdrive too, or like it'll just. That is.
If you're in second or above, and it thinks you'd be better off in the next gear, it'll shift into overdrive.
Is overdrive sort of like an extra diff?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of.
It's a 2-speed automatic.
Right. That makes a lot of sense now. Okay.
I think it's a 2/3 ratio, give or take.
Right. So okay, so you have this. The transmission is the same. It just allows you to lower the RPM in the same gear.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So we mentioned this at the start, the 4-speed plus overdrive. So it's actually not a 5-speed manual. It is a 4-speed manual, but it has an overdrive. So when the overdrive is engaged, it essentially lowers your RPM while in the same gear. Very, very weird, goofy technology. You said in the later ones they swapped to the 6-speed, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think 88 they swapped over to a 6-speed.
Yeah, very goofy design, but kind of cool, and it does work. Anyway, let's talk about some initial impressions of the C4. Over some of these bumpier roads, it does rattle quite a bit, but when you have it on smoother roads, it's actually surprisingly quiet, and the best way I describe this is surprisingly modern feeling. The way the driveline functions, the torque curve, how it shifts in the gears, the transmission is very direct. Cable throttle's nice, but it doesn't clunk badly. It feels really nice. We also have a muffler delete on here, which sounds pretty good. Very like rumbly.
As far as I remember, it's the first Corvette that was built from the ground up, being tested on the track. Everything about the car pretty much was just designed around it being a track car first and foremost. Apparently they were really good back in the day in the race series because of that. Actually getting their own class, I forget which race series it was, but they outperformed most of the other cars in the same class at the time, that they got banned from the racing series and ended up having their own, I think it was like the Corvette Cup or series or something like that.
That's really funny. Yeah, they got banned from their own racing series because the car was too good. What fell out? Oh my god. Lots of low-end grunt. Oh boy, can we put the... That's funny. This car feels very substantial. All the inputs are heavy, direct. The engine has a very meaty tone. This is like a classic American V8. It doesn't rev high, but you get all your power at like 4,000 RPM. All that juicy torque down low. I mean, this car really, there's a little upshift light there. When the car is trying to tell you for fuel economy to just kind of let it idle. It was telling me I was going like 25 at one point, and the car was telling me to shift into fourth, which is very funny. I've also noticed the digital speedo and digital tachometer are more accurate or easier to read than the actual like little graph they give you.
Going back to the race heritage.
Yeah.
This car actually, in the 80s, on 80s tires, stock suspension, it had the highest skid pad rating for any production car at the time. I think 0.95 Gs, if I remember correctly. Which at the time is insane.
Yeah, on 80s tires.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've messed around with it a little bit. I've gotten readings well into the 0.9s, just messing around.
Yeah, what do you measure that on? Is that your GoPro?
Just my phone.
Oh.
Accelerometer app on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, I mean, even if there's a little variation, I mean, if you're still getting a 0.9 reading,
Yeah,
it's still,
averaging.
yeah, that's pretty good. I don't doubt that this car would do that. It feels very planted in the corners for what it is. You look at the car, it's this big boaty thing, but you gotta remember that this only weighs like 3,300 pounds, I think, because everything's fiberglass or aluminum. It was a very modern car for its day. Oh, that one was faster than that one.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Discrepancies in the motors.
It's a little, it's kind of cool actually. It's like a little like, I don't want to say winky effect, but you know, like, anyway, it's quirky. We like it. The styling on these was also very interesting. It's 80s like wedge shape, but specifically the angle which the front is, and also because it's fiberglass, they designed it in a way where it makes it hard for radar detectors to pick this car up. Or police. Is it radar or laser?
Radar.
Radar.
Yeah, the radiator is slanted by a few degrees so that it doesn't get, you don't get direct pings off of the reflections from it.
Gas door in the center. Oh, overdrive turned back on. So maybe it does just auto default to on. Well, the light isn't on.
Yeah, it turned off, but now it's not turning. I don't know. But now it's back to overdrive.
So it's an
It is an overdrive with the button. Now you're in.
I felt it shift out of overdrive. Okay, we'll try to leave it out of overdrive. It's funny listening to the overdrive in this car because it sounds like a kickdown from an old automatic. Like an old 4-speeder. It's like, woo.
These things came with a 4-speed for the automatic, actually.
It'll probably sound similar to that then.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's try to take this a little quickly. It's a little vibraty, but the suspension made me very confident. The plastic did not. The steering wheel vibrates a lot. It has a lot of feedback to you.
Mm-hmm. You feel every bump in the road.
Yeah, you feel...
It's great until it's a bumpy road.
Yeah, it's nice. Like, I want to feel the steering, but I don't want to feel the potholes.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't really pick, so it just gives you all of it.
Mm-hmm. It lets you know when your traction is limited from it, though.
Yeah, it communicates to you very well.
Like, on a track, it would be amazing.
100%. I can't imagine tracking one of these, but I bet that'd be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. There's tons of pictures online of just like no body panels. Everything but the windshield is removed pretty much, interior wise.
Funny, most cars when I'm on these roads, I usually have it in like one less gear than whatever's top gear, which I guess technically I'm in now, but we're still at such a low RPM, it just has so much torque. I don't like feel the need to grab third. And I can just so much torque. That's so much fun. I mean, torque is what you feel on the road. I gotta be honest, coming into this, I expected a lot worse out of this car. The downshifts, I feel confident in them.
Yeah, it's different than other cars, but you get the feel for it pretty quickly.
There we go, I got the yellow to come up. Brake! The engine, I don't want to say it feels happy to rev. Maybe it's the way the gearing is. I feel like when I'm getting close to 5, I'm like really ringing it out. It likes to shift at like 4, but I mean that's
yeah.
kind of the point of this car.
It's meant for torque, and it makes peak power at around 4,000 RPM as well.
Yeah, so after 4, you're just kind of ringing it out.
The gauge kind of looks like it's power curve actually. That's kind of how it's designed.
That's kind of cool actually. I wonder if that was intentional or not.
It has to have been, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. I love the engagement of the shifter. It just goes right in and click.
Yeah, it's nice satisfying thump as everything gets in place.
100%. Yeah, and then you get back on it and you feel the torque come back on. Oh, it's so nice to downshift. The gas pedal's so heavy, you just get into it, whoosh, hear that engine rev out. Dude, that's funny. That's a funny feeling in a manual car. A kickdown. So this car has no rev limiter. What about with the overdrive? If I'm going up on the limit, will that put itself in overdrive?
Yeah, if you go all the way. Yeah, if you properly redline it in fourth, it will kick into overdrive automatically.
Okay, so it knows.
Yeah, and technically it does have a limiter, but it's at 10,000 RPM. So.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Why bother?
Yeah.
Yeah, just gone at that point.
Yeah, pretty much double your red line.
Yeah, literally.
On the actual tachometer.
Ooh, I don't know if I heard a burble out the rear, if that was just the rumbliness of the V8.
It does a little burble, not a ton, but just a little bit.
We appreciate a little bit of burble here. Alright, here we go. Those brakes are not very confidence inspiring, to be honest. I noticed the front end sort of kind of like wandering a little bit.
Yeah.
It's an 80s car, who cares? Mm-hmm. It has pretty good power. The gearing feels pretty short when you just like romp on it.
Yeah. This car, it's perfect for like the 1, 2, 3 pulse.
Yeah, exactly. 1, 2, 3, you're not totally like breaking the speed limit, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it throws you back in your seat.
Highway on ramps, etc. are a lot of fun in this car.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what this is made for.
Just fun.
It throws you back in your seat when you get on the throttle, but it's not jarring. You feel the driveline like settling back into itself, but it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not violent. It feels very sporty. So we'll do overdrive. So that's pretty low. And yeah, look at the fuel economy. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put your foot down, that's so funny. That was smooth. This car is great. This is a lot of fun. We've now finished our test drive of the 1986 C4 Corvette. My hot take, it was way smoother than I expected. You know, when you look at it, it looks like this 80s wedge box looking thing. It's got pop-up headlights, which looks sick. But you don't expect a lot out of it. But the shifter feels direct. It's not super sloppy. There are a fair amount of rattles and like vibrations, and there's a lot of feedback in the car. But it feels pretty smooth and almost like a modern car in that sort of way. So I was pleasantly surprised by how nice it is. Adam, thank you for coming on to the channel. Is there anything else you'd like to say about this car?
It's been a wonderful car. I have loved every minute of owning it. It's been a great learning experience.
So with all that said, let's go ahead and give the C4 Corvette a score. The score is as shown. The C4 Corvette beats out less practical cars like the NC Miata, but it doesn't quite live up to a lot of the more modern or well-rounded sports cars. Should you buy it? The C4 Corvette is an icon. The shape is synonymous with the Corvette brand, and it was the pinnacle of what we thought was the future in the 1980s. With new designs like the 4+3 transmission and all the screens with various driver information. Despite its very 80s aesthetics, the C4 Corvette feels a lot more modern than it is. It was a trailblazer for Chevrolet and set the stage for the next Corvettes after it. The value proposition is very good in today's used market, as these regularly sell for under $10,000, which is a bargain for the amount of car you're getting. If you're looking at an 80s sports car, the C4 Corvette is worth a look.